Sam's coffee house was the kind of place that seemed alive no matter the hour. The clatter of cups, the soft hum of conversations, and the hiss of steaming milk created a comforting rhythm. Regulars came for their favorite brews and the friendly faces behind the counter. Sam, the owner, had a knack for making every customer feel like they belonged. But one day, a newcomer quietly joined the fold. Eli, a lanky teenager with messy brown hair and clothes that seemed just a bit too big for him, started showing up every afternoon. He wasn't like the usual students who ordered fancy drinks while studying or chatting with friends. Instead, Eli would order the smallest, cheapest item on the menu, a black coffee, and sit in the same corner booth by the window. Sam noticed him after a week. The boy had an air of solitude about him. He didn't seem like trouble, but something about his silence piqued Sam's curiosity. Eli would hunch over his phone, brows furrowed, and barely look up for hours. "Another coffee for the kid in the corner?" Maria, Sam's barista, teased one afternoon. Sam chuckled, shaking his head. "He's got to be working on something important, showing up here every day. Maybe he's writing the next bestseller." Maria rolled her eyes. "Or he's just addicted to caffeine." But Sam wasn't convinced. Eli didn't match the image of a carefree teen. His eyes carried a weight that didn't belong to someone his age. One evening, Sam walked over to Eli's table with a fresh coffee. "Hey there, kid," he said with his usual warm grin. Eli looked up, startled. His face turned red. "Oh, hi. I didn't order this." "It's on the house," Sam said, sliding the cup toward him. "You've become a regular. Thought I'd say hello." Eli smiled shyly. "Thanks," he mumbled, then quickly looked back at his phone. Sam didn't press him for conversation, but as he walked away, he found himself wondering, what was this boy doing here every single day? Weeks passed, and Eli's routine never changed. He came in like clockwork, usually in the late afternoon, always with that same tired look on his face. He'd pull out his phone, connect to the cafe's free Wi-Fi, and start typing furiously. Maria started to notice too. "Sam, you see how fast that kid types? He's always on that beat-up phone of his." Sam nodded. "Yeah, but he's not just messing around, he's focused, almost desperate. I wonder what he's working on." It wasn't just Eli's determination that caught Sam's attention. The boy's appearance hinted at something more. His sneakers were scuffed to the point of falling apart, and his hoodie had small holes near the cuffs. One chilly evening, Sam noticed Eli shivering slightly as he sat at his table. "Hey, kid," Sam said, bringing over a cup of hot chocolate. "You look like you could use something warm." Eli blinked up at him in surprise. "Thank you, but I don't have the money for—" "Don't worry about it," Sam interrupted with a wave of his hand. "It's on me." Eli hesitated, then took the cup with a quiet, "Thanks." As he sipped the hot chocolate, Sam noticed his hands trembling slightly. Not from the cold. No, this was something else. Anxiety, maybe? Sam's curiosity only grew. He decided to learn more about Eli without being too intrusive. The next day, as Eli was leaving, Sam casually asked, "You heading home?" Eli hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah, thanks for the coffee." Something about the pause in his answer didn't sit right with Sam. That night, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Eli's story. The next evening, Sam tried again. "You've got to be working on something big with all that time on your phone. School project?" Eli shook his head. "No, just personal stuff." Sam leaned against the counter. "I used to hate homework when I was your age. You in high school?" Eli hesitated again. "I'm not in school right now," he admitted softly. Sam's brow furrowed. "Why not?" Eli's face turned red. "Just family stuff. I've got other things to take care of." Sam nodded, sensing the boy's discomfort. "Well, if you ever need a break from all that, this place is always open to you." Eli smiled faintly. "Thanks." One evening, Sam saw Eli struggling with his phone. The screen was cracked, and Eli was squinting as he tried to read something. "Everything okay?" Sam asked. Eli sighed. "Yeah, just... this thing's old. Makes everything harder." Sam glanced at the screen and saw an email draft. It was a job application. Suddenly, the pieces started falling into place. "Looking for work?" Sam asked gently. Eli hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah, my mom's sick and, well, things are tight. We don't have Wi-Fi at the motel, so I come here." The weight of Eli's words hit Sam like a ton of bricks. Motel, not home. Sam swallowed the lump in his throat. "What kind of job are you looking for?" "Anything, really," Eli said. "I just need to help out. My mom can't work and I don't want us to—" He trailed off, his voice thick with emotion. Sam couldn't stop thinking about Eli after that conversation. The boy's determination reminded him of himself at that age, but Sam had grown up in a stable home with parents who supported him. Eli didn't seem to have that safety net. "Maria," Sam said the next morning, "what do you think about hiring the kid?" Maria looked up from the espresso machine. "Eli? You think he'd be interested?" "He needs work," Sam said, "and he's got the drive. I can see it." Maria nodded. "Why not? Worst case, we train him and give him some experience." That evening, Sam approached Eli with the offer. "How about a job here, kid? You're already practically part of the furniture." Eli's eyes widened. "You mean it?" "But I don't know how to do anything." "That's what training's for," Sam said with a grin. "What do you say?" Eli hesitated, then nodded. "I'd love to. Thank you." Eli started working at Sam's coffee house the very next day. He quickly got the hang of taking orders, cleaning tables, and even learning how to work the espresso machine. The regulars warmed up to him, and Maria took him under her wing, teaching him the little tricks of the trade. For the first time in what felt like forever, Eli had hope. He was earning a paycheck, even if it was small, and he felt like he was contributing something meaningful. Sam made sure Eli got to take home leftovers from the cafe's daily batch of sandwiches and pastries, but it wasn't long before Sam noticed that Eli's energy seemed to ebb and flow in strange patterns. Some days Eli was focused and energetic, but on others he seemed distracted, tired, and unusually quiet. One evening after closing, Sam found Eli sitting in the break room, his head in his hands. "Hey, kid," Sam said softly, pulling up a chair. "You okay?" Eli nodded quickly, but his red eyes betrayed him. "Yeah, just tired." "You sure?" Sam pressed. "You've been off lately." Eli hesitated, then mumbled, "It's just, Mom's getting worse. I've been taking double shifts when I can, but the medical bills keep piling up. I don't know how much longer we can stay at the motel." Sam felt a pang of guilt. He'd been so focused on giving Eli a chance that he hadn't thought about the boy's living situation. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" Sam asked. Eli shrugged, his voice barely audible. "I didn't want to be a burden. You've already done so much for me." Sam shook his head. "Kid, you're not a burden, but we need to figure something out before things get worse." Late one evening, after everyone had gone home, Sam decided to follow his gut. He closed up the shop and drove toward the motel Eli had mentioned. When he arrived, the sight broke his heart. The place was run down, with flickering neon lights and a crumbling parking lot. Families sat on curbs, their faces etched with exhaustion. Children played with makeshift toys, their laughter tinged with sadness. Sam spotted Eli sitting outside one of the rooms, staring at the ground. A woman sat in a wheelchair beside him, coughing quietly. It was Eli's mother. Sam parked his car and approached them slowly. "Hey, Eli," he called out gently. Eli looked up, startled. "Sam? What are you doing here?" "I needed to see for myself," Sam said, his voice firm but kind. "This isn't right, kid. You and your mom shouldn't have to live like this." Eli's mother looked up with tired eyes. "You must be Sam," she said, her voice weak but warm. "Eli talks about you all the time. Thank you for giving him a chance." Sam knelt down to meet her gaze. "Ma'am, I don't know how you've been doing this, but it's not okay. There's got to be a better way." She smiled faintly. "We're doing the best we can." Sam clenched his fists, anger bubbling beneath his calm exterior. How was this the best the world could offer to people who were struggling? The next morning, Sam called a meeting with Maria and the rest of his staff. He explained Eli's situation and asked if anyone had ideas for how they could help. Maria was the first to speak. "We could start a fundraiser," she suggested. "We know most of the regulars by name. I bet they'd chip in." One of the cooks added, "What about getting him in touch with some local shelters or charities? They might have resources." Sam nodded, feeling a spark of hope. "Let's do both, and I'll make some calls to see if there are any programs that can help with medical bills." Over the next few weeks, the entire cafe community rallied around Eli and his mother. A donation jar appeared on the counter, and every day it filled with bills and coins from customers who wanted to help. Maria set up an online fundraiser, which quickly gained traction as people shared Eli's story. One evening, as Eli was finishing his shift, Sam pulled him aside. "I've got some good news, kid," he said, grinning. Eli raised an eyebrow. "What's up?" "Remember that fundraiser we started?" Sam said. "Well, we hit the goal, and then some." Eli's jaw dropped. "Wait, what? How much?" Sam handed him a printout. "Enough to cover a few months of rent in a proper apartment and some of your mom's medical bills." Eli stared at the paper, tears welling up in his eyes. I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," Sam said, clapping a hand on his shoulder. "Just promise me you'll keep fighting. You've got a lot of people rooting for you." With the help of the cafe community, Eli and his mom moved into a small but cozy apartment. It wasn't much, but it was home. Eli continued working at the cafe, and his mother's health slowly began to improve with proper care. Sam kept a close eye on Eli, offering guidance and support whenever he needed it. Over time, Eli began to open up more, sharing his dreams of one day going back to school and pursuing a career in technology. One day, as Sam watched Eli laughing with a group of regulars, he felt a deep sense of pride. This boy, who had once seemed so lost, now had a future ahead of him, a future that was bright and full of possibility. And as Eli walked over to thank him yet again, Sam simply smiled and said, "Kid, you're family now. That's what we do.